I'm Nicole Lakin with CarGurus, and this is the 2017 Dodge Durango, a full-size SUV with seating for up to 7 passengers and serious towing capability. It can just as easily haul your family around town with a crossover-like ride and all the amenities a busy family needs to get through their day. Dodge didn't make any major changes for 2017. The GT trim replaces the old Limited trim, and the Citadel's anodized platinum appearance package gets interior upgrades, like 2-tone Napa leather seats and anodized gunmetal trim on the steering wheel and speakers. But the Durango isn't a hot seller, with its stablemate, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, outselling it by nearly 3 times despite having seating for only 5. Does that mean the Dodge Durango's a dud? Let's take a closer look and see why you might or might not want to park this car in your driveway. Outside, the Durango makes a statement with that signature crosshair grille. It's a large SUV with just enough curves to avoid looking boxy. No one would ever accuse the Dodge brand of subtlety, and this is an SUV that looks right at home next to muscle cars like the Charger and Challenger. It's big and bold with no apologies. The Durango is available in a range of trim levels from basic to beautiful. Even in its highest trim level, however, it doesn't scream luxury and refinement. There's a ruggedness to the Durango that fits the Dodge brand, so even when you add leather seats and a rear seat entertainment system, this SUV is more about function than looking pretty. It wants to help you get things done, like haul home stuff from the hardware store for that weekend project, or get the brood off to school, and it's okay with getting dirty in the process. That said, you can get the Durango very well equipped with all the features you need to keep the kids entertained and the adults comfortable. The interior is roomy, and the dreaded third row is still a nice space for 2 adults, with relatively easy access around the second row seats. There's also plenty of cargo room with 17.2 cubic feet behind the third row, 47.7 behind the second row, and 84.5 behind the third row. That's more space than much of the competition, like the Nissan Pathfinder and Toyota Highlander, although capacity with the third row up falls a few cubic feet short of the Ford Explorers. There are 2 engines, starting with a 3.6-liter V6 with 293 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. You'll get an extra 2 horsepower out of the same engine in models with a dual exhaust, thanks to an intake manifold that improves airflow. Shoppers hoping to unlock the Durango's full 7,200 pounds of maximum towing will need the beastly 5.7-liter V8 Hemi with 360 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque. That's what we have in this Durango Citadel all-wheel drive, and it really is a monster. It's responsive whether you're starting from a dead stop at a light or pressing for extra speed on the highway, and it backs up that performance with delicious sound. Who wants a quiet V8? No one. So Dodge makes sure you and your neighbors know what's under the hood. Both engines are paired to an 8-speed automatic with paddle shifters. There are Eco and Sport buttons to kick the performance up or down depending on your mood. These settings change the throttle response and steering. Eco delivers a more relaxed steering feel with shift points that are lower on the rev range, while Sport tightens up the steering and lets the engine rev a little higher for a more responsive ride. All 4 trim levels offer a choice of either all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. Opt for the SXT, GT, Citadel, or RT, with the base SXT coming in at $29,995, seating for 5 passengers, and the smaller V6 engine. The GT offers the larger V6 engine along with interior upgrades like cargo area scuff plates, power leather seats, and a third row for $37,495. We're driving the Citadel, which is the first trim with the optional V8 engine. It adds a slew of comfort and convenience features, including Napa leather seats, sunroof, and an Alpine premium audio system with a base price of $43,995. If you're more interested in performance above all else, then opt for the RT at $42,095. It comes only with that V8 engine and also gets 4-wheel anti-lock disc HD brakes, performance steering, and sports suspension with a lower ride height. You get more power with that larger engine, but what you won't get is stellar fuel economy. The Durango with the V8 is rated 14 miles per gallon city, 22 miles per gallon highway. You'll do better with the V6 at 18 city and 25 highway, so choose carefully. You might have to give up that power if you don't want to end up watching prices at the pump and crossing your fingers if the numbers go down and not up. The Durango features Fiat Chrysler's Uconnect infotainment system, which is fantastic. It has either a 5-inch or 8.4-inch touchscreen with a standard 6-speaker audio system. Available features include a CD player, Sirius XM, navigation, and either an Alpine or Beats audio sound system, which we have in this Durango. If you're an audiophile, you won't be sorry you sprang for this upgrade. There's also a rear seat infotainment system for the kiddies with dual 9-inch screens that flip up on the backs of the front seats. The kids can watch a Blu-ray disc or plug it in game through the HDMI ports on the sides of the front seats. What you won't get in any Durango is Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, although they're available on some other Dodges. It's disappointing, but the Uconnect system is a good one, so the lack of smartphone integration isn't as big a drawback as it is in some other vehicles. It all comes down to how easy the Uconnect system is to use. It's primarily icon-based, so the selection you want, say climate or radio, jumps right out at you so you're not distracted having to read text. Once you make a selection, the successive menus are equally clear and uncluttered. Every infotainment system takes a little time to learn, but this one gets high marks for how intuitive it is right from the start. You won't need one of the kids from the back seat to come up front and show you how it all works. Now, if you checked out our previous review of the 2016 Durango, you'll notice that Mike Perkins took issue with the Durango's tech. He liked the system too, but he didn't appreciate the cost to get into the most fully featured variants, nor the lack of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. While I'm with him on those missing features, as for the cost, not so much. In fact, I appreciate that you can get the smaller screen in the base system if that's all you want. Not everyone wants all the bells and whistles, and for those people, especially if they're on a tight budget, they can still get into a Durango that meets their needs and save a little cash. And again, it's a darn fine infotainment system that won't disappoint. Standard safety features include electronic stability control, hill start assist, and trailer sway control. Additional features like adaptive cruise control with stop, blind spot monitoring with cross-path detection, and forward collision warning with active braking are optional or standard on higher trims. The Durango does okay on crash tests, but not great, which is a problem when you're talking about a vehicle that is essentially a family car. The IIHS gives it its top rating of good in all categories except for small front overlap, which receives only a marginal rating. That's a pretty big black mark in a vehicle that's large enough to carry a family most of the time. Safety counts, but it counts even more when you're talking about your kids. NHTSA also had mixed ratings for the 2017 Durango. It got 5 stars for side crashes, 4 for frontal crashes, and only 3 for rollovers. That earned it an overall rating of 4 out of 5 stars. Again, that's not terrible, but it's also probably not what you strive for in a car designed to haul families, and it's a good reason to check out other vehicles. The Dodge Durango offers the flexibility of seating for up to 7 passengers and can quickly be reconfigured for cargo. It also has great towing capability and powerful engine choices that make this large SUV fun to drive. The performance aspect of the Durango with the V8 Hemi is hard to find in an SUV this large. The downsides are middling fuel economy and safety ratings that aren't on par with competitors. The Nissan Pathfinder, which was refreshed for 2017, received a top safety pick rating from the IIHS and has a more elegant interior. The Durango aims for families who want a combination of good cargo and towing and features that will entertain kids and keep adults connected. It succeeds on those fronts, despite falling short in safety. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think of the 2017 Dodge Durango in the comments. Is there a better combination of family-friendly crossover and rough and ready-to-tow vehicle? Are the poor fuel economy and safety ratings deal breakers? You can read my full review over at CarGurus.com and click the subscribe button for more test drive reviews.